Hello and welcome to World Talks. I'm your host, Sasha Farbach. On Sunday, Europe saw 3 elections unfold across the continent. We focus now on Romania, which witnessed a pivotal second round of its presidential election, drawing significant attention across Europe and the world. Now, the nationalist George Simion has refused to concede, citing allegations of fraud, despite a clear 54% victory for Liberal Bucharest Mayor Nicușor Dan. Now, with Simion's ongoing claims and the political tensions they have sparked, Romania now faces an uncertain period ahead. Now, to explore all of this and the implications of this election and its broader impact, we're joined by Radu Albu-Comănescu, fellow Visegrad Insight. Thanks for being on the program. Good to have you.
Thank you for the invitation. Good morning.
Morning. So there's a lot to unpack. Let's begin with the success. The Nicușor Dan was a bit of a surprise. I mean, he was behind in that first round just a few weeks ago. What's behind the success? How do you analyze all this morning?
Absolutely, it's a huge success because he actually made up. He made up 25% almost of the electorate, meaning that he could also take advantage of the many errors of his counter-candidate, George Simion, who in the last 2 weeks rather displayed his way of governing Romania had he been elected president. Meaning, it was a race against time, first of all. It was George Simion's approach with much nonchalance and a sort of considering himself already elected. In doing so, he managed to send a message of negligence, of rather incompetence, especially in the way he managed some public interaction, either with foreign politicians or with the electorate. He avoided any and every public debate with his opponent. He also preferred an international agenda that was designed to show that he has international support. Therefore, Romania will not be isolated, which was one of the main concerns of those who were about or intended to elect him. But this fell rather flat. For instance, his visit in Rome, trying to meet Giorgia Meloni, succeeded in meeting her, but not as prime minister as he wished, but only as leader of party. And the meeting, for instance, did not end up with a public support declaration coming from Giorgia Meloni. He managed, of course, to get the sympathy of Matteo Salvini in Italy as well. But Matteo Salvini is known for his Russian preference, and this simply did not comply well with the wishes of the Romanian electorate, of those who wanted to see, however, Simion embodying not a pro-Russian stance, but a Romanian nationalist stance, which excludes a too close partnership with Russia. So these are just a few examples of the way he mishandled the time he had at his disposal to convince the undecided, which were quite a few, to attend. And of course, this came with a merit from Nicușor Dan, who slowly convinced patiently that, you know, if you take step by step every issue with moderation and calculation, he's a mathematician, by the way, you may succeed way better. Mm-hmm.
You mentioned an interesting word they used for Simion, negligence. He's still crying foul, saying he's not conceding, he's won the vote. You painted an interesting picture of him there. How serious of this now will this play out in the next few weeks, months, of him not conceding? What kind of fallout will that have for Romania, or is this just going to be a quick done deal?
Oh, I have good news. He conceded. After midnight at 1:30 a.m., he posted a message on his Facebook page where he conceded defeat, and basically we can move on from this moment. Meaning that indeed we did have an evening where we were wondering what he will do. Will he play a sort of Trump 2020 moment, insisting on his victory, trying to push his supporters into being aggressive, into manifestations and protests against the state institutions? It was a moment of quandary, we have to say, but it came also with a huge relief that, as I said, in the morning, actually after midnight in Poland, he did say he was defeated. He thanked his supporters, and he also added that he hopes he represented their wishes with honor. Of course, his opponents may underline that honor is not exactly the word that is supposed to be used in his case.
And also, what happens next? Because, I mean, we had the Romanian government very much in crisis, or resignations, interim leadership. Now, with this clarity of Mr. Dan, what happens next for the rest of the Romanian government?
This is the topic we discussed this morning in Romania, and it's quite a hot topic because the largest party in the parliament, the Social Democrats, oscillated before in joining the nationalist, sovereignist, extreme right camp by supporting a minority government had they won, or simply rallying with the rest of the pro-European parties. And this is a massive step because it would completely redefine the role of the Social Democrats. They have 37% of the seats in the parliament, which means that they are more or less kingmakers. They could, for instance, choose to support a minority government if they do not wish to join a larger governmental coalition, which would be actually beneficial for their image because they are following these long elections that started basically last year in the autumn. Their image has diminished massively. And it is for the first time in their party's history when one candidate coming from their ranks is not represented in the presidential elections, and not just not represented, but also lost, because in the first round of the elections, the candidate that was supported by the Social Democrats did not win. So it is a difficult moment for them. They have this unique opportunity to reform. But it takes time, and it definitely takes a better strategy than just chasing political power, because what happened in Romania, and what is still a big problem confronting the process of governance in the future, is the profound distrust of the electorate in the established parties, therefore in the Social Democrats and liberals as well. But at least the liberals seem to have started a process of self-reform somewhere in last year, and they do bring up new faces. They do push more, reformists towards the top layer of the party. It's definitely not going to be easy, but we shall see, for instance, what happens during the negotiations that start this afternoon in Bucharest inside the Social Democrat Party, and which is the position they will take.
Mm-hmm. And tell a little bit more about this new president, Mr. Dan. I mean, he's mayor of Bucharest, but relatively unknown, I think, also in Romania. Now he's the very highest echelons of politics. But what can we expect from the man himself, mathematician? He says he's more of a quiet-spoken person. What policies also can we expect for Romania and also for our region? I mean, this is going to be more pro-EU. Tell us what he has planned. Do we know what he has planned already at this point?
Well, he just in the last couple of weeks he presented some directing lines of his future presidency, but we shall keep in mind that the president is not necessarily involved in economic processes or in decision-making processes related to economy. This is the exclusive competence of the executive, which basically not just reduces his role, but puts his role into a more constitutional framework, which sometimes in Romania did not work well. And I'm not referring to President Iohannis, the previous one, way of interacting with state institutions and the larger society, but the player president that had been Traian Băsescu, and which created a sort of pattern. Romanians kind of expect the president to get involved in everything. It's a paternalistic, protective figure that rather works with an imaginary monarch than a constitutional president. While President Iohannis diminished this kind of approach projection of an approach and ended up, unfortunately, being very silent, we can expect from Nicușor Dan a more moderate, more calculated approach, meaning that he will distribute, however, his presence between essential and non-essential, or essential and what should not be there at all. So moderation is to be expected, and also lots of calculation. He never intervened in spectacular ways, but in balancing ways, which is actually the attribute of the president according to the constitution. Mm-hmm. Now, the Romanian electorate may react with a certain degree of impatience to see somebody getting involved, shaping, reshaping, reforming. But this will be the duty of the government. And he picked a liberal reformist. By reformist, I mean somebody who is willing to cut through institutions, and this is exactly what he did as president of the Senate and then at interim in Romania. So he's not afraid of reform. He's not afraid of saying things. Yes, we are going through difficult times. We have to expect, to go through moments of restlessness. But somebody had to do it. Romania's economy is endangered. Our public deficit is the largest in Europe. So there are some measures which are going to be unpopular, but at least with somebody that is trusted, the direction is a better one in the eyes of the electorate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We're closing now really soon. I just want to get very short, maybe 20-second comment. I mean, there's a huge role of and debate in Romania about foreign interference, especially by Russia. How much did this play out? What's the last impact of that, just before we close?
Oh, we've just seen the messages of disappointment coming from Russia's Ministry of Foreign Affairs. We received in Romania a message coming from Pavel Durov, who we know as being founder of Telegram, against the liberals and against the European part of the electorate. So we are certain that Russia was willing to involve and interfere. Fortunately, Russia did not succeed.
Right. And as we said there, the moderate, a more progressive tone has won the day, it seems. Look, thank you so much. Really good insight there. Radu Albu-Comănescu, much appreciated. Thank you. And thank you for watching World Talks. There's much more coming up right here on TV World, so stay tuned. Goodbye.